Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for week 12 of Survivor 49. My name is Mike Bloom. We are talking about the penultimate episode of Survivor 49, and we'll be talking about the penmanship of some of these family members, as it is the biggest reward of the season. And one of the biggest question marks coming out of this episode, or should I say, many of them. Liana, Boraas, I can't say we promise answers, but at least we promise discussion of said questions.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll try to do better than Steven did in the dark room full of coffee tables and shit. He was a pair of shins and anyway, whatever.
Yes.
We'll break all that down, I'm sure, too.
That felt like one of those idol phrases from 41 and 42.
It really did. Yeah, exactly. I was like, is Steven about to get an idol here?
Well, we talk about being left in the dark to being left in the dar, as we are talking with our guest this week from Survivor 47. And certainly, I think a lot of the fan base was left with a reaction similar to hers when she was blindsided memorably in Survivor 47. It is the one, the only Anika Dhar.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Liana. I'm so excited to be here today. That was so clever, Mike, and so quick of you.
Thank
Dawn
you.
and dark. Oh my God, I love it.
Well, are you loving Survivor 49 so far? It's weird to say so far because, like,
We're at the end.
Yeah.
3 hours away, but, like, we basically are at the end. There's only one episode left. So now that the season has pretty much taken its full shape, what are your thoughts been about it?
I'm going to be honest, and I think what I'm about to say is everyone maybe had the same opinion. It started out slower, and it's really, really picked up in the merge. I think even Jeff is aware of it. And last episode, the one we're about to talk today, I really enjoyed. Like it got me hooked, and I'm happy that it's the episode that we get to talk about today because there was a lot that happened and a lot to chat about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really does feel like the season has continuously picked up as we've gotten closer and closer to the end. And I think for me personally, I think it's a lot of how do we get there? Like trying to understand how this story is going to unfold. And it's been fun to learn how these pieces have fallen into place. And I think especially in this episode, like I almost was like, what on earth is going to happen? It felt like there was sort of a foolproof situation. Then we have,
More like
Sophie,
what in space is going to happen.
I know, much to Steven's chagrin, but it was so interesting to see like Sophie at the reward being like, oh, maybe I won't make the move. And then slowly but surely you see Sage being like, taking out Sophie's not really in my best interest. Christina is also there. So like, there's just a lot of really interesting things that we've seen unfold, especially in this episode, that I think are kind of like leading us towards what the finale might have in store.
My favorite type of Survivor episodes are when you can put yourself in the perspective of everyone and then also choose what you think the best move is for everyone versus episodes that are kind of edited to only feature one person's point of view. And, credit to the editors. I think they did a good job of this episode, really putting ourselves in the perspective of almost every single player. And also, again, where it's not set up that we know what's happening. There, of course, if you're a big fan, you kind of understand the edit. I think this episode did a good job of giving us, like you said, what's going to happen, what's she going to do. They really are seeing the internal debates of each side. So,
yeah, but I think, as you said, though, this led to one of the most surprising outcomes, where I think it's not like a complete shock. Oh my God, where did this Steven thing come from? Like, it was set up. I just think in the moment, people were mistaking it for the red herring of like, well, it's clearly a Sophie vote. He's going to play the block of vote and they'll be able to get one over on this trio finally. But this was the catch of the day instead of the red herring. And I think that maybe on paper, the idea of making every episode 90 minutes can be tough, especially when you get down to 6 people. There's certainly been some talk when 90 minutes first came around of like, you're really going to do a 90-minute episode around 6 people. But I think that's something that it benefits from, to both of your points, is the fact that we do get a lot of perspectives from those 6 people, being able to at least shed some light as to like, why are they making these individual decisions? Because they are individual decisions at the end of the day. Yes, we're talking about, again, this trio that cannot keep getting away with this, but there's individual perspectives within there that need to be addressed. And so I do appreciate, as admittedly frustrating as some of it might be, if you are looking to kind of shake up the status quo, which is weird to say that the status quo was like, hey, this group that was down 7-3 is now making their way into the final 5, and that was the status quo. But for people that were looking to have that shaken up, at least we got to hear the logic a little bit behind why people were doing what they're doing, even if, as you said, Anika, you personally disagree with why they did it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's been one of my biggest frustrations with the season is the editing of we only get to see one perspective, or we don't get the logic why someone might really actually consider making certain decisions. Like it just feels like it's like, it could be this, could be that. But it was like, no, I heard Sage say, to me, getting rid of Sophie does not benefit my game. I want to sit at the end with her and with Christina. So the logical outcome then is Steven. You get to hear Sophie at the reward saying these bonds are so like I'm so close with these people. You know, I have, and she said this, I think, in a previous episode as well, where I'm closer with Rizzo and Savannah than I am with some people back home.
Yeah.
So we get to
Which
see those
real
really
burn on some people back home, you know?
I know, right? Do you think they know? Do they think that the people at home are like, oh, I think that's me?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Imagine.
too. I was like, if I was one of Sophie's best friends and I heard that, I'd be really doubting my friend.
And it's
Yeah,
actually
is
really
this guy
bad that
about us?
that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's really bad that she didn't say their names, because then it's the worst outcome because now everybody thinks it. You know, if you at least identify someone, at least some of these people can exhale, be like, at least I'm not Brian.
Oh,
Yeah. I will say
Yeah.
also what's going to be interesting too, moving into Final Tribal, to your point of like, we are seeing everyone's inside perspectives, but when you're out there playing, you aren't getting that thought process. You're just seeing what Sophie ended up choosing to do. And so it will be really interesting, whoever makes it to Final Tribal, and them having to explain maybe this thought process that they did have that we got to see that, you know, the people playing out didn't. So
Oof, and especially Sophie. Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fantastic point, right? The jury only sees so much, and
Yeah.
I should say so little. So their last memory is Sophie let's say, completely misplaying her knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the last thing that they see.
Mhm.
Which is so I felt so bad for her. I
I
was like,
know.
"Oh girl, like
It-
I have secondhand embarrassment for you."
I mean,
I
even
felt so
Jeff on the
bad.
podcast is like, she didn't do anything wrong. Like, this was an advantage that
No.
had to be played before tribal council. She couldn't have known that. She was, damn it, she got defeated by us, which is like kind of an odd L for Jeff to cop, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, totally. It's unfortunate for Sophie in the edit and also for the jury because they don't see all of her confessionals thinking, hey, I might want to take a shot at Savannah. Hey, I might want to take Rizzo's idol. And they're only seeing her flop, which, I felt for her. I really felt for her. You saw it on her face just sink immediately.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
The
she was
cringe of
pissed. She was so angry.
And I would be too. I would be so pissed.
Same.
Oh, I know 100% my face would be.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Immediately.
could we say,
Yeah.
technically speaking, is this a revenge-fueled vote, like a lot of them have been this season, where it's immediate revenge, but, you know, Sophie in the voting booth is at least like, I was already planning to vote for you, but, like, now I hope you really go home
Really?
because you humiliated me.
Yeah.
Feels that much sweeter. I'm like, God damn it, Steven. But then I think also for Sophie, right? You also know that Rizzo has had this. I mean, from the jury's perspective, right? Like the move on Steven, first of all, would have been great if it worked. But imagine stealing Rizzo's idol, right? Like it's like you actively chose to go for some potential vote advantage instead of an idol. So then that also, like, even if it did work, like, let's say she was able to steal the block of vote, then if I was a juror, I would be like, but girl, you could have had an idol. What are
Right.
we doing here?
Yeah. I'm so selfishly wish she did that only because it would have made such great TV. Like, I'm aware that maybe it wouldn't have been the best for her game when there was still a chance to go home at 5, but oh man, would it have made entertaining television?
If anything, it would have been to just be like, so we can stop talking about this freaking idol. Like, Rizzo, glue your pants to your seat at this point. Stop getting up for ceremonial sake. We all know you're not going to play it. Let's not, you know, have a horse and pony show right now. I'm going to play this idol to just get it out of the way so that you don't have anything to deal with anymore.
But does that cause chaos at 5 if everyone's searching for it? Because it doesn't go back in. I actually don't know this answer, Mike. You might know better than me. If an idol gets played at 6, does one get still in play at 5?
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, but that would also be an amazing live for the weird like narrative that they were able to sway the rest of the competition with, which is like, oh no, this one is special. This one expires at 6. Like maybe theoretically they're like, well, there can't be one at 5. This one expired at 6. There's no
Right.
real idols here.
Right. Or anyone in the bottom could really lie with that and be like, I found something.
Yeah. And bluff with that. And then you have to decide. And we know that this is a group that doesn't seem to want to take the risk on flushing an idol, right? Because sometimes some seasons they'll just be like, we're just going to pile votes. If they play it, fine, that's fine. We'll deal with the consequences. Like, we want to flush this idol. This group seemingly not so much. So who knows? I think that could be a very real possibility. But yeah, I mean, I think like Rizzo's show is been so interesting. I really want to know how the jury is perceiving it, because we don't really get to see that.
Right. I would love a second show of being like what the jury is talking about when they get back to Ponderosa during the show, not after, like only game talk.
I mean, like, I don't want to necessarily, burst any preconceived notions. I mean, Steven did talk to me as well as a couple of the other people on Exit Press this week about how apparently the jury, the WTF reaction they had this week when Rizzo decided to stretch his legs. Apparently they've had that reaction a good amount of times when Rizzo was doing his things. So maybe that doesn't necessarily extrapolate out to the overall thoughts about his game, but it does seem like, he's not necessarily doing a Rick Devens, oh, I'm really entertaining the jury. If anything, the jury's like, can I change the channel on this and spend the 10-hour stream of Rizzo not playing his idol?
Right. Okay. So the three of us right now, do we think Rizzo is going to use his idol next week? Or
I think he has to, right?
You think no matter what he's going to play?
Here's the thing. He could be so risky as to play it on somebody else.
Oh my God. Imagine.
Like this is a guy who's been able to wield implicit immunity like a baton for the better part of 7 weeks. Like he could just say, okay, everyone assumes that I'm going to play it. So like, if I just throw it onto Sophie, then that like guarantees the three of us make it one step further.
Yeah. Another thing about Rizzo is I do deem him to be such a likable player. I know the jury does have like various reactions to him talking about the idol, but there's so many other players who would have walked up to Jeff, physically walked up to Jeff to like almost play an idol, not even like from his seat, like walking up. That action there can be marked as so obnoxious for so many other people. But it just goes to show, I think Rizzo is doing a pretty good job that he's not marking himself as obnoxious as that action would be on other people.
Yes, but.
Okay, yeah, tell me the but.
Why, when Steven is viscerally blindsided by everyone, including his own allies, does Rizzo have the gall to say with his full bird-like chest, GG, Steven?
Oh my God, that was so funny.
Like, I have to imagine, I honestly think it's done sincerely. Otherwise, like, that is kind of a dick move to be like, oh, GG, like, teabag.
GG's, bro. Yeah, GG's. You get him next time, champ. It's a little condescending. I just think that's part of Rizzo's lexicon. Like, I don't think that he intended it in any negative way. I would be a bit salty. I think if somebody said that to me when I was on my way out.
We all know I would be so salty.
Yeah. And also, like, it's speaking to that, like, again, if the perception is like, oh, this is just like some kid. Yeah, if someone said GG, like, I don't care what age you are, you look now 10 years younger if you actually sincerely use the term GG to me after you blindside me.
GG's, bro. But like, imagine, Steven had a roller coaster of a tribal council. Imagine going in thinking it is foolproof. Like, your plan is foolproof. You've played it. You've stolen the vote or blocked the vote. You've got your majority. You're all ready to go. Sophie turns around. He gets to do this little wink thing where he's like, I already played it, girl. I already played it. And then you go home unanimously. Like, what whiplash from that? I felt so bad for him in the moment.
Yeah, it's the meme of the guy like celebrating and spraying himself in champagne when he was third place the entire time. Like, Steven did not know that it was going to be a unanimous vote against him. So he is doing all of these things, and he is going through the emotional roller coaster. As you mentioned, Liana, like, I don't know. Maybe it would be a better outcome for his emotional state if he didn't play the block of vote and had it stolen. Like, 'tis better to have lost than to have used it and realized that it was in futility.
Right. Completely. I do think for Steven, though, there was a path to winning.
Mm.
So I do understand why everyone voted him out. Like, I think it was very valid because there is a path in which he was a very good competitor in all the challenges. And he was, I thought he was pretty strategic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We talked about this, and at least they did in the past couple of episodes, as to why they wanted to target Steven, was that he was really good in challenges. He, had been playing the middle a little bit. He was really likable to everybody. And I would imagine as well, if I am this trio and I'm looking on the jury and I see MC and I see Alex and I see Sophie and maybe a Christina is on there as well and a Sage, it's like, oh yeah, Steven has this locked up. So that's the thing too. And again, they build the logic in that in retrospect shines a little bit more of Steven clearly is, from their perception, specifically Sage and Christina's, a bigger threat to keep in the game than the idea of this trio, quote unquote, sticking together. I'm glad that Sage outlined her end game plan. I feel like we don't see that a lot in Survivor, honestly, where we have people say, I want to go to the end of these people. I think it's because the editors don't want to necessarily ruin the outcome by being like, well, the final three was preordained from this date. But that did help. Again, you could disagree with the decision itself, but at least we are seeing some of the rationale as to, okay, we don't know how Rizzo is being perceived as a threat on the island. We have a very good perspective as to how Steven was perceived as a threat on the island.
Agreed.
Well, and I think especially like if I'm trying to put myself in Sage's shoes, like I think Anika, what you said, which is I can understand why in each individual person made the decision that they did. Like I'm thinking, okay, I'm in Sage's shoes, and I of course see Steven as a bigger threat than Sophie, right? We know that. So for her, it's not even really about the trio. It's about I want to sit at the end with Sophie. Then Sophie goes and embarrasses herself with the knowledge is power. Why would I like if I'm Sage and I'm on the fence about voting between Steven or Sophie? Oh, I'm absolutely voting for Steven because Sophie just embarrassed herself and Steven just would have had what looked like an amazing play where he would have played an advantage, got that advantage, like didn't get the advantage stolen, right? Which also looks cool, and then stays and votes out the person who tried to eliminate him. Like that looks badass. So even if I was on the fence as Sage, I'm switching my vote to Steven because if I'm trying to think about who I'm stacking up against, you're at the final six. You're going to sit next to two of those people, right? So like your options are particularly limited. And it seems like Sage's path to the end, she has a very clear two people she wants to sit next to. So that means for her, Rizzo and Savannah have to go next. So Steven would be the only other option.
Yeah, I think that's perfect logic for Sage's perspective. Another note on Sage, I'm loving every single thing she is saying to everyone who's getting voted out. Icon energy, A+. I love the energy she's giving. I do find that sometimes it seems almost a little fake in just saying like,
which is wild considering that she was very real the time she denied Shannon a hug.
Yes.
That's true.
That's where it started. That was just peak. It will not get better than that, in my opinion. But even just acknowledging I'm sorry or I'm bitter or I'm upset or any of the emotions, she is showing it immediately. And I respect that so much.
Well, even in this episode, after Rizzo doesn't play the idol, or I can't remember exactly at what point during tribal, flipping turd.
Flipping turd. Oh, I love the no filter. That is why I'm watching reality television.
And it's interesting because you could also say on paper, like, is she giving an in-person goodbye message, right? By being like, Steven, by the way, I voted you out because I thought I could beat you. Like, just remember that. Don't remember that I betrayed you. Just remember this final thought. Instead of, it's a good use of the time instead of everyone throwing out the usual platitude like, love you. You're great.
I mean, it's a good move
GG, Steven.
It's a good move if she does end up at the end, right? Like you have no contact from Ponderosa, only you're seeing as at the jury. So the last final message does make a difference because when you leave, you're sitting and thinking and reflecting on everything of why what happened. You're not going to get answers until someone else comes back to Ponderosa. So there's some time of you just pondering in your brain of what the heck just happened. It's nice to have some answers. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. Yeah. Like some peek behind the curtain before you just go stew on it right by yourself.
Right. Who was it? Was it Sophie who also recently asked, like, who owned it? Or, like, she said something else similar to what I did.
No, it was, I think it was Jawan stood up and said, "Raise your hand if you voted
if you
for
did this.
me."
Yeah, and I was like, stop. So I was like, yes. I was like, get your answers before you leave.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, then you have more of the puzzle, right? So
I did see a little bit of not controversy, but discussion on social media because when Jeff calls for idols or advantages, Rizzo immediately asks like Savannah and Sophie, "Did you have your vote blocked?" And some people felt like you shouldn't talk during that period. Yeah. Do you agree with them? Do you feel like this should be like a cone of silence should be enacted unless someone actually decides to play something?
I support it. I think that that it's a tricky question. Because a lot of people were upset with how I also reacted. I got a lot of feedback that I should have just left immediately and not asked or said anything.
Those people don't like good TV.
I agree with that, but also presently being there. This didn't make the edit, but I did ask Jeff, am I allowed to say this? And I do believe Rizzo in a couple of moments have also said, like, do I have my 2 seconds? Like, can I say, like, I think there is like a gut check period. And if something wasn't happening, all of production could step in. That's my take. And it does make good TV. Like it's so entertaining to watch. So I'm okay with it. I'm on the side of, how do I phrase this? Like, I think you're playing outside of the box of the game. And if there's not a direct rule told to us of what you can and cannot do, I think it's free play.
Yeah.
To be able to do it.
I would agree with that. Rule of cool. I mean, and that also is like, where do you extend the boundaries, right? Like, could we get Natalie Anderson's Jacqueline, did you vote for who I told you to vote for if this rule was in effect?
Right. Exactly. And I do think like they don't explicitly tell us we can't. And there are guidelines out there that we have to follow. So it's not like he's breaking a rule by any means.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as well. Again, team good TV. So this gets to some great moments. I'm all on board.
Well, we talked about Sophie's, I wouldn't even say faux pas, but at least getting egg on her face at Tribal Council. But let's talk about her getting shredded cheese and beef all over her face at the reward here, because I think something that other people took perhaps even more umbrage with, which again, the knowledge is power, kind of out of her hands because Steven's advantage was out of his hands at that point. But I think people were intrigued by, again, her being entertaining the concept of possibly turning on this twosome, and felt so bonded by a trip to the sanctuary where good things happen, including an ironclad alliance being made and formally named. And she decides to reveal to them that she has knowledge is power. And it leads to a very fun sequence where we sort of get like the Summer Nights from Greece, where the two alliances are being like, well, I've got a block of vote. Well, I've got knowledge is power. And they're trying to figure out how to utilize them. But I think some people felt, you kept this a secret for so long, even when you were working so tightly with them. Why tell them now? Anika, agree or disagree with that?
Sorry, Mike, what was the question? I was thinking, sorry, as you were talking, I literally was thinking about the importance of this episode and how, like, on my season, Operation Italy, and like the rewards and the letters just plays such an important part of the game. And how it really changes up things. Like the Sleepaway Sanctuary love letters we're seeing in the new era being so vital and game changing that time away.
So then what did you think of Operation Mexico? Did you think Sophie should have told them about knowledge is power?
Yeah, see, I go back and forth, obviously, but I do put myself in Sophie's shoes and I understand why she did what she did and the emotions that are coming from the love letters and also the bond that you're feeling with those people and how natural it feels to trust. And especially if she's feeling that she is on the bottom of this trio. This is the one action she needed to feel more solidified. And no matter what, it is easier to, if she is searching for that connection, for the one signal to tell her that I'm with these people and it's not a 2 and a 1, it's I'm with these 3. If your brain is searching for that, once you've kind of locked it in your mind, like I have this, I do understand why she felt so comfortable. Whether or not it was a great move, You know, it can go both either ways. Like it could have, if she didn't tell them, it could have hurt her, vice versa, if she ended up choosing to use it and then they felt, you know, betrayed by her. Like, why didn't you tell us about it? Like, it could have gone so many different ways for her from a strategic standpoint. But if we put ourselves in Sophie's shoes, it did make sense in the moment. And I probably would have done the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, would have you done the same? Or both of you?
Oh, well, I mean, I was just going to say, like, at the end of the day, Survivor is a social game. Like, it is all about social relationships. And I think, sure, you can look at it from a pure strategic perspective. Like, if I'm thinking about it, no emotion involved, I'm stealing Rizzo's idol, baby. Yeah. Like, of course I'm going to do that. But that completely negates and devoids all of those relationships that Sophie has built out there on the island. How close she is to Savannah, how close she is to Rizzo. And I think that's a lot more difficult to show on TV. Like, it's so hard to show a bond between two people. You know what I mean? To
closer
really
than some
show
of our best
that
friends in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Wouldn't you tell your best friend you have knowledge is power?
See? So yeah, or what was the name of the kid that Sophie's not friends with anymore?
Oh, Brian.
Brian, yeah. Fucking Brian.
It's also a fear of like losing that friendship then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I absolutely agree with that. And that's the thing is again, it's because it's about social relationships. To her, the stakes are higher than just the game, right? Because she's a human and cares about other people. Like, God forbid she care about the feelings of the people that she's gotten close to.
Yeah, I think, I'm sure there are strategic reasons behind it. We'll get the chance to talk with Sophie and hear that perspective. But I agree, Liana, that I think there is an emotional and personal tie to it as well. And especially, as you said, Anika, given the weight that comes with this, right? It's really tough to look at someone and say, like, thank you so much for letting me get contact with the outside world for the first time in 21 days. I'm going to vote you out now. Like, it's some people are able to have those two thoughts at once, but I imagine it's a lot easier said than done, considering how much gratitude you have attached to that person in that moment. And whether that led to her admitting this, it could have been something as well where she's like, I need to think of a way I could use this. And I know that Rizzo might be able to think of a more, effective way. So let me try to throw something out to him, or we could use our advantages in conjunction or anything like that. She might have made it more of a cooperative effort, which the tough thing is that she has kept it such a secret so far. And it does seem, again, just spurred on last minute. Again, considering the path that she was going down, is it frustrating for her to suddenly turn back and go down the well-trodden path? Definitely. But I think there is a rationale to why she did what she did. Not to mention, yes, stealing Rizzo's idol would have been so amazing. Especially, like, imagine, this is like pie in the sky here. Tres Leches cake in the sky. What if she stole Rizzo's idol and, because it was made as a public...
After telling him that she had the knowledge of power?
No. So this is...
didn't say anything.
She keeps her mouth shut. Yeah. It's full of Mexican food. So she doesn't say anything. She steals Rizzo's idol. And so we assume that with that happening, then, maybe a Christina, a Sophie, a Sage would throw their votes onto Rizzo instead. And even if they don't, Sophie plays her idol on Steven.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be wild?
What? And then it bounces back on her?
On Rizzo.
Oh, because if one of them like throws a vote on Rizzo.
Right, because I think, I think he has such implicit immunity that people are just like, we're not going to... The reason why Sophie gets votes, right, is because they say, well, Savannah's immune and Rizzo's going to play his idol, so we're just going to vote for Sophie. If Sophie has possession of the idol, they're not going to vote for Sophie.
You know what to do.
See, these are the scenarios that I love being a fan watching the show, because you're like, and you could have done this, this, and this, but out there... It's just so much more nuanced.
Oh, yeah. It's about as likely as me being like, and then you should hop on a unicorn and sail off to the magical treasure land where it's full of marshmallow bits.
Yeah. There's also a crazy world that she tells him about the knowledge is power and still steals his idol.
That would be amazing.
And that would
be like, I warned you.
Villains.
I told you. I mean, that's also, though, if I'm Rizzo, like, pretty big gesture of trust to knowing that Sophie has the knowledge of power. Like, I would have given that thing to Savannah going into tribal council, like, just in case things go south. She told us she had this. She just told us she had this. She probably had this for a while now. Why didn't she tell us beforehand?
Right. And smart on Steven. Can we go to that for a second? The fact that he didn't have his block vote on him.
You mean like because he had already played it, or
did he give it to
not
someone
tribal?
No,
else?
he already. So this is where the weird wrinkle is that is unfair to Sophie. Is that this was one of the only advantages I can think of in Survivor history where it had to be played before they left to go to tribal councils. Like when you see the confessional of Steven saying, "I'm using this on Savannah," like that is a formal use of the advantage.
Oh,
Like that was
he had played it already, technically, so he didn't have it anymore.
It's really weird because I feel like 95% of advantages are done in the presence of Jeff Probst, and as far as I know, Jeff was like not off camera to validate it. So I understand your confusion, Anika, because it is strange that he's like, "Okay, I'm playing this," and you're like, "Yeah, you're gonna play it tonight." He's like, "Nope, I'm playing it this minute, right now. Here you go, producer." You know,
if a steal vote works that way too?
No, so the vote steal, well, I think it depends. I believe Rachel maybe had to tell someone before tribal council as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the story
I think
with
so
47.
too.
Also, yeah.
But I feel like I've seen where people play it at tribal also.
Yes, I mean, the vote steal has happened more often at tribal, where someone's like,
okay,
I am stealing Nick and Dave versus Goliath. I am stealing Allison's vote. Stephen Fishback, I'm stealing Joe's vote. Like, you have to make a public declaration for it. I could see both sides of why they did this. It does create a bit more of a surprise of like, oh, I didn't realize you had this thing, as opposed to making such a public gesture. And you could look around and granted, in this outing, things were outed of like immediately, oh, Savannah's vote was blocked, and Steve was like, yeah, I did it. But you know, otherwise you could keep that hidden. But it does come at the expense again of like, there's no way to really combat it. And I guess maybe a downside of playing it so early is like things could absolutely change on a dime. Like Steven could have blocked Savannah's vote, and then what if Savannah pulls Steven aside at tribal council and is like, I'm gonna make a move, I'm voting with you. And he's like, oh, sorry, can I take that back real quick, Jeff? I want to change my mind about something.
Right. And imagine if that did happen. Like, that would be crazy. That would be so crazy.
I unplay this advantage. Like, no takesy backsies.
Yeah.
It's within a 30-day period. Can I have that back?
There needs to be a series of like the biggest what ifs that people can create of any different episode of, because as a player, obviously, would go back and do like 8 billion different scenarios for every single vote, for every single, if someone new wins each time. So I need the craziest, most biggest like fans to blow out the most insane scenarios for me.
Well, I do want to bring up Jeff and Jeff's accent, because we've seen, so he actually did this in the Apply to Be on Survivor promo, I think maybe last week or the week before. So, and we've seen this, I don't know how to describe it, Mike. Like, how would you describe Jeff's accent?
It's as if an alien watched like 3 episodes of Doctor Who and is like, this is how you speak British. Like, it's an attempt at it, but it's like a copy of a copy of a copy, where it doesn't feel authentic whatsoever. If this person is from the UK, they're from like this remote island right off the tip of Ireland that has not had communication with other human beings for the past 60 years.
Oh my God.
It is really bad. Well, we were welcomed into the laboratory, so
yeah, it was so like I part of me kind of feels like Jeff does this for himself, right? Like I know there's talk about like, does he make the show for the players? Does he make the show for the audience? Sometimes Jeff, I think, just likes to entertain himself. Like he's like, I welcome these people in every single day. Let me try something different. What if I tried a voice?
Yeah, he's not running these ideas past anyone. He's just acting. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they had that, and then he also talked about Othello, right? With like, maybe Christina is doing Othello for summer theater.
What? That was when Sage was like, what question are you asking?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, Sage also replies with like, that was on my bucket list. What was on her bucket list exactly?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
To do Othello? To have Jeff speak to her that way?
Yeah, like what a very specific bucket list. Like, and I want Jeff to do a weird voice in front of me.
Right. Ask me a question. I have no idea what he's asking me.
Yeah, maybe it was that. Maybe it was like, I want to get Jeff so far down the rabbit hole I want him to play act a character in front of me that I don't understand what he's asking me at this point.
Yeah, there's some like the game of how do you get Jeff to do weird stuff. Easy peasy, apparently.
Yes,
Get
it's
Jeff
very.
to cry. Check on 48. Get Jeff to We should have like a running checklist for all players.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's something where it's like the opposite perspective of the idle phrases, where it's like, I'm gonna get Jeff to do something fun. I'm gonna push him to do something weird. Maybe Sage was actually prompting him off screen, and it didn't make the edit. Where she's like, Jeff, I love that laboratory voice. Can you bring it back more?
Yeah, do that. Can you ask me your next question in that voice, please? Thank you.
Well, before we get into our usual fare on the B&B, I'd be remiss not to ask all of our thoughts as to what we think is going to happen on the finale. As much as we have been wish casting this past little while, I do want to have a somewhat grounded in realism here with the gravity of a neutron star, much like our bereaved Steven. What do you think, Anika? Because right now we are at the final 5, and this trio seemingly has stuck together. Tres Leches is maintaining its structure at this moment. The cake has not collapsed in on itself. Do you think it's as simple as these are the final 3, or do you think there's going to be some hiccups along the way?
Well, I think within the 3, Savannah's edit has set her up perfectly to keep on saying, I keep on getting targeted, and I have maneuvered myself around the vote so many different times. And I think that does lead her to a final 3. I think it's her edit is giving her that she's making the final 3. Between the rest of the players, it's very interesting. I don't have a ton of faith in Christina's game at this moment. I don't think the jury is.
Was it when Steven just straight up called her a sloppy player?
Yeah.
Was that the moment?
That'd have been just a hint.
I mean, yeah, maybe just a hint of that. Yeah. So, and I do think that the jury is probably reading exactly what Steven is saying. And now that Steven's back at Ponderosa, I'm sure he's saying the exact same thing.
That's the other thing too, is like, even if that wasn't the perception, Steven can be like, she did this, or like, oh, actually, Christina is sloppier than I thought she would be.
Yeah. Oh, having that as a +1, I feel, or as an alliance member, as a number 1, I feel for that.
I like that. It's very like wedding invitation code. Yeah. You're my +1. You're not my ride or die.
I have 6 weddings next year, Mike. It's always on my mind.
6 weddings.
Yeah. Some Survivor players.
Oh my God. I feel like you're Katherine Heigl in 27 Dresses.
That's what I feel like. Yeah, 2 maid of honors. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, +1. That's my new saying. Not number 1. +1. But yeah, I feel very strongly about Savannah. I think Rizzo and Sophie and Sage have a similar-ish edit in which it's very interesting because all of them at some point, except maybe Rizzo, have compared themselves to Savannah, right? Mm-hmm. So that being included in the edit prompts me to think, I'm curious how it's going to end, right? Because if you include that and Savannah doesn't make it to the end, I think they do have a pretty good chance. So it's like, are we prepping for either Sage or Sophie to make a successful move against who they were targeting? Or does Savannah make it, So those are, I think, the 2 sides of what we're seeing in the edit, and it could go either way.
I think I look at 2 key factors. One is what I hear other players say about, so like what Mike would say about me, for example, instead of what I would say. Only good, thank y'all. But instead of what I would say about myself, right? I hear Rizzo talking himself up a lot, but I hear a lot of other people talk about how great Savannah is.
Right.
So that to me is like, okay, Savannah to me is a clear favorite. Now the debate is can she get there? And I go to immunity challenges because they're so critical that from here, if she wins Final 5 immunity, then she either has a shot to win Final 4 immunity or she's going into fire. So then she's got 2 opportunities at Final 4 to save herself. And only Steven, Sophie, who are both on the jury, have 1 immunity. She's the only other person who's won immunity. And I have to imagine that she is at least a top contender for winning Final 5 and Final 4 immunities, which gives her a clear shot to get to the end.
Yeah, because Final Five is most likely going to be. I know the Final Four immunity was this in your season, Anika, but the like typical obstacle course into puzzle at the end, which they did a little bit in the challenge that Sophie won a couple episodes ago, but Savannah was in it with them. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting, I'm very interested to see Rizzo at 4 because I assume he's either going to play the idol on himself or play it on somebody else and be implicitly safe. But like, Rizzo has not been good in challenges. And I don't know if he's good at fire. So, like, I think there's a very good chance he ends up going into fire unless, like, if someone like Savannah wins and he is such a goat that she feels like, okay, I've got to take him alongside me, like, he could get thrown in there and all this work could be undone. That, like, the first round of the post-merge where he technically is not protected by the idol, he gets undone by a 1-2 punch. That's, like, probably the biggest thing that I am watching. If he makes it through, then I'm really intrigued to see him and Savannah assumingly go up against each other in a final tribal council. Because I think we have seen so much of what they have both done independently. Like you said, Liana, it's the difference between like the person who was really out front and the person that was able to like obscure themselves more and work behind the scenes, which ends up being, you know, the more respected game. And that's always baked in as well to like relationships they have, how they feel about people. You know, I think there's been a lot of talk about like Savannah being very blunt and direct to the point where Christina is even like, I don't like that. But does that work with everybody? How will that work in a final tribal council setting as well? You know, every juror is a little different. Some jurors have to be buttered up. Will Savannah have that crock of, can't believe it's not butter next to her? I'm not entirely sure. So honestly, like I assuming that things carry out the way that is expected, I'm more intrigued by a final tribal council than maybe I have been in quite some time in Survivor. And if that's not the case, then I'll be even more intrigued. You know, if Savannah and Rizzo are out at 5 and 4, then it's like, all right, this was Sage's dream scenario, but like, will this become her nightmare? Is this really a walk-in for her?
Savannah and Rizzo are reminding me of a little bit of Dean Austin. And what you were saying, both of you guys just made me think, like, I think, Liana, you were saying, like, everyone's saying that Savannah is a threat. Everyone else is talking about Savannah being a threat, but Rizzo is saying that he is playing a good game. And Rizzo's also doing everything he can to protect Savannah. I'm curious if he is aware of how much everyone else, he has to be. Everyone's voting for Savannah. He has to at some point be aware that everyone is gunning for Savannah. We haven't heard from Rizzo once that he doesn't want to sit with Savannah at the end.
Yeah.
What is Rizzo's game at the end? You know, so I think Savannah is probably in her head thinking like Rizzo might be a goat for her.
Yeah, I think that's a very real possibility. I think also she's, Rizzo gets up and does his little song and dance with the idol. She might be locking eyes with the jury. How are they responding? How are people reacting? She can notice that body language, notice what people are doing. So I think that there's a very real possibility that Savannah's not concerned with Rizzo beating her, or she feels like, look, I can still argue my case. Sure, he's done some cool things with the idol and not playing it and having the balls to not play it, but I know I've still played a good game. I know that I can make my argument. I think for me, the other thing again is the narrative of each player. So what I see the editors building up is Sophie's big move or maybe lack thereof, and potentially that being a mistake. There's a very unsettling foreshadowing potentially moment where she talks about she doesn't want to come in third. So noted that. Thank you, editors. What I see the story from Rizzo and Savannah is like, I'm a good player. I could win for both Rizzo and Savannah. I think both of them have gotten that storyline. So I'm just imagining those two sitting next to each other and battling it out for who ultimately will win the $1 million.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter for Savannah, what it can come down to is like, I do not care who I'm sitting next to. I just want to get to the end because I feel like I'm going to win if I get to the end. And so, hey, Rizzo, if you want to go to the end with me, great, dude. It'll be your folly. As you were on to say, GG.
Yeah, GG's, Rizzo. GG's.
All right, well, let's start getting into our usual wear and tear here on the B&B. And we've got to go back to the man of the hour and a half. We've got to talk about Stephen Ram, a man among the stars. But how much of a star was he in the preseason for you, Liana? What did you think was going to happen to Stephen before this whole shindig kicked off?
Yes. So in my preseason prediction, I had Steven making the jury. I said that Steven was the ringleader and brains of the majority alliance on Hina, quickly pulling in Sophie, Jason, and MC to form the Game Sharks alliance. The group ran Hina pre-merge and, by making Christina feel super comfortable, went into the merge as a strong 5-person alliance. Initially, the remaining Uli and Kele members were nervous to band against the group at Hina. However, the rebellion eventually got going, identifying Steven as the head of the snake. Steven is voted out almost unanimously as a major game player and threat to win the game. Even his own alliance, apart from Jason, turned on him. His allies were MC, Sophie, and Jason, and his enemy was everyone. Also, go Arapaho Warriors, Arapaho rules, Heritage rules, boo Heritage, you suck. Which, for context, Anika.
Yeah, I got you a little lost on that.
Yeah, he went to my rival high school, so I already was like, this guy. So that was very much on my mind. I have grown to absolutely adore Steven, and I can't imagine the season without him. But my preseason prediction is still dripped in boo Heritage, you suck. Boo
so
Steven.
then is he changing your mind a bit as to the people that can come out of Heritage, or is he more so the exception to the rule for you?
Yeah, he's the exception to the rule.
All right.
He can come
for the most part, that was pretty spot on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I know.
It's going to be a tough act to follow. Well, I had pretty high chances for Steven. In fact, you could say they were astronomical because I had Steven not winning, but making the final 3. So here's what I had to say about Steven. Steven's golden retriever attitude makes him Tribe's best friend in the early days of Hina, but he faces his own old Yeller situation when he's forced to take out his closest ally, Matt, behind the proverbial survivor shed. Lord! Holy crap, pass Mike. Steven hooks us right from the opening by opening up to both his tribe and the audience about his hearing loss. The heartwarming segment will probably be closed out by some silly joke like, with what I've got prepared, they won't hear me coming, and neither will I. Steven's day-to-day as a chronic overthinker will get him completely in his head. We'll get some sort of hashtag survivor breakdown scene in the pre-merge where he fears, despite being liked on Hina, he's in the outer orbit. When the game turns individual, Steven looks to finally build his survivor solar system. Initially, he's seen as just a moon to the greater action, simply hanging on with the Hinas. But eventually, Steven decides it's finally time to be a star. He approaches Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie B to propose the Space Force Alliance. It turns out their fate is much better than the real McCoy, as they make up the entirety of the Final 4. Steven also proves himself a gas giant in the challenges. This becomes of particular prominence when he takes home the last 2 necklaces, guaranteeing himself a spot in the Final 3. On day 26, Steven talks up his well-rounded game and his supermassive black hole strategy that he played out to perfection. But his biggest enemy, ultimately, is himself. Steven's overthinking creeps in at the worst time as he fears he's gloating and taking too much credit. And just when he eases up on the gas, Savannah kicks things into warp speed, more than happy to talk up her own game in his place. And so Steven's chances of winning collapse in on themselves with the gravity of a neutron star. While Steven ends up netting a respectable couple of jury votes and a second-place finish, he winds up the ultimate winner in a very different way. Seeing the positive reception on and off the island to his perky persona, an approachable way of describing the universe, Steven will start a successful YouTube channel following the show called Let's Talk About Space, aiming to teach children about some of the coolest oddities that exist above and around us. His closest ally was Matt, then Hina, then Space Force, then the subscribers. And his enemy was the jury.
And you know what? In another universe, that could have happened.
See, I'm just continuing to write all the best fan fiction you possibly could in this podcast.
I am obsessed with all of your space puns. That was beautiful.
Thank you. I think Steven will hopefully appreciate it as well, posthumously.
I think so.
Well, listen, technically speaking, our guest gets to determine who had the better prediction. I think this is a pretty easy consensus.
Unfortunately, Mike, it was beautifully written, but
thank you.
I'll take the cake.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's interesting though. We got a little sneak peek into potentially your winner pick. So, who could it be?
You guys not know each other's winner pick?
I mean, at this point, I think
well, we do.
Liana did the same thing last week that I did this week. So, like, if people have been paying attention, the clues were there all along, Mr. Policeman. See if you can figure out who we picked as the winner.
That's right. Go full Knives Out.
This is the game within a game of the B&B.
Yeah, right. We left clues all along. Okay, fabulous. Well, so that concludes the predictions. Now we're going to get into our game for this week. This was sent in by a listener of the B&B. Shout out, Derek. You're a real one. Thank you for sending this in. This was inspired. Yeah, hearts. GG's, Derek. We love you.
This is the Gen Z heart, right?
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, wait.
Yeah. Anika's got it. Anika's got it.
I think that's what you're doing. Yeah.
I have like weird gnarled fingers. So like I have like witch hands, so it looks weird.
There's also like this one that people do.
Oh yeah. This one
yeah, like little baby.
Yeah, little baby heart.
Oh, it's a heart? Okay, I guess I can see that.
You see people going like this in photos, like it's their little baby.
Okay, no, it looks more like a cancer ribbon.
I miss this. This is and it does look
You just look from here up, not down here. Not the loop part. It's also, the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Mike's out there like this.
Hey, I see you. This is what I'm running for.
Anyway, tangent aside. So Derek was inspired by his favorite game show, or one of his favorite game shows, Only Connect. So the way that this works is you guys will be presented with clues and you have to guess which category the clues fall under. So we'll do a practice run so you can see how the game works. But basically, the fewer clues you have, the more points you earn. And I think this would be fun to do collaboratively. So you guys will talk together to try to figure out and try to get as many points as you can. So, again, you'll get more and more evidence basically as it goes along. So let me go ahead and set up to present our game here.
Yeah, so this is, I believe Only Connect is a hit British game show. So we know that Jeff has watched it in his preparation for voice acting.
Of course. When he was the alien learning, he learned from Victoria Cohen Mitchell. So, all right. So this is the Survivor version of Only Connect. So the first one is going to be an example. So there's no points for this, but this is basically the structure of how the game works. So you can take a guess at the 5-point mark. Okay. So first boot. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect guess. So it's a perfect guess, but it would be incorrect. So then we would reveal the next clue.
Members of Kella, Alex and Nicole.
Okay. So I could accept that as an answer. I'm just going to go through the rest of it. So basically, yes, they are all members, but they're tribe members who've been eliminated as of the final 6. Now that's a little ticky-tacky. I probably would have accepted that. And the other ones are not as complicated as that. But this is the basic gist of the game.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start with your first official category. Your clue is Nate Moore.
Oh, okay. So we could take a literal shot in the dark here, Anika. Any category that we feel Nate belongs to.
Well, I think it's obvious. We could say his tribe, right?
That's we could say his tribe. We could say...
What's his profession? Do we have... Is this only 49 players or is this extended across all seasons?
I guess we'll see.
This is it's extended across all seasons.
So we could say merge boots.
Merge boots is a good one.
We could do older players that are at least a certain age. I don't remember. I think Nate's over 45, maybe. He is a Marvel producer. We could do people who work in the entertainment industry. So the sky's the limit here.
The sky's the limit. Mike, I'm going to have you choose the first one.
All right. I will go with merge boots.
Great.
Okay. That is incorrect. Here is your next clue. MC.
I
mean, is it as simple as like people who are on the jury?
No, I know. That's what I'm thinking.
But it can't be that simple.
It can't be that simple. There's no way it's that simple, Mike.
Could it be something like anyone who's ever been on Hina? But even that sounds like that's too wide of a net to cast.
Is there a certain beach that they were both on? Is there a certain challenge they...
Oh, well, they did do the journey. They did go on a journey.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, maybe we guess that. Like, people who went on a journey.
That is incorrect.
Oh, okay.
Here is your next clue.
Alex did go on a journey, though.
He did go on a journey. That is technically
I mean,
correct,
Anika, this is the order that the jury's been eliminated in. So.
Yeah. I think we lock in that.
I think we overthought this. I think it's the jury.
We overthought it.
That is correct. Yes.
Oh, we overthought it.
Hey, 49 jurors. Okay, but not too bad. That gives you 3 points. And I basically set par at 3. So you're right on par. Okay. Let's see if you can get some points here. So your first clue of your next category is Uli.
I have an idea, but I want to hear if you have any suggestions.
No, nothing is coming to the brain, Mike. I need you.
Okay, tribes that are red.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, that is correct.
Mikey, genius man.
5
Oh my God.
points.
What a shout out, Nagarote, the
Congratulations.
no color tribe from Survivor Worlds Apart.
I know, right?
And
Okay.
Labo. It's
Labo.
49.
Hey! All right. Here is your next category. First clue, Stephen Ram. Our boy, Stephen Ram.
Okay. There could be, again, so many
Yeah, it could
things.
be 6 placers. Could be. What else could it be, honestly?
Could it be a descriptor? Something about, like, he wears glasses, players with glasses. Or I'm getting too creative. I think it's
I like this. Think outside the box. Like you said, there's no rule against us not guessing people with glasses.
or
People with... Okay, so is that, are you locking in people with glasses?
No. I think you should go with the simpler answer.
Okay.
I think I would overcomplicate it.
All right, six placers.
6 placers.
Okay. That is incorrect.
Oh, Jessica Johnston. Okay. Jessica Johnston was on a yellow tribe. She was on the healers.
Ooh.
I mean, is it as simple as like
people
someone
people who are on yellow tribe?
People who started on a yellow tribe?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Your next clue is Mitch waiting to make his move.
Okay, Mitch, Jessica Johnston, and Stephen Ram. What exists between? What's the commonality? Oh, now this is getting fun. Because I'm thinking, okay, because Jessica was, like, she was a. Trying to think.
I hate to say it, like, Stephen has a hearing aid.
Stephen has a hearing aid. Jessica Johnston was just a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
Lovely woman.
Lovely
One's Stephen Astro. Mitch is not the same career.
Nope. Gym teacher.
Yeah.
Could it be that he? Because I'm trying to think. Like,
did they do something similar in the game?
It's a good question. I guess no, because like Mitch was voted out unanimously. Steven was voted out unanimously. Jessica had the whole thing, the split between the healers and the rest of the group. I mean, the thing with Jessica didn't go to tribal council in the pre-merge. These guys did. Oh man.
Do we have to go down to 2 points?
I think we got to go down to 2 points. We got good with that 5, so we bought ourselves some time here.
Okay. Would you like to make a guess?
Okay. People who have 2 of the same letter in their name.
Okay, that is incorrect. Your next clue, Rachel Lamont.
Okay, wait. Okay, because Steven played something on somebody, or he played something before tribal council. Jessica played something before tribal council, right? She had the advantage she found in the potato chip bag that blocked Devin's vote, I believe. I think Mitch may have played like a vote block on Say, I want to say, before the vote, and we just talked about it with Rachel. So maybe it's that.
Okay.
I think that's my best guess. Someone who they played something before tribal council.
I trust you, Mike, and your survivor knowledge. I don't remember that Jessica doing that, but yeah, okay. Or really Mitch, but okay.
Okay, so what is your final guess? A block of vote?
Oh, yeah, it's a block of vote, yeah.
That is correct. Players who had a block of votes.
Like, I totally forgot about the Jessica Johnston one.
2 points, technically still above par. So let's keep going.
Okay.
All right. Your next category, your first clue is Shannon Fairweather.
People who didn't get a hug.
I think we're gonna need more data. So I think
maybe like people. I would say people from. Okay, there we go. Sage.
Sure.
Okay,
Sage.
My guess was going to be people from.
Guess.
My guess was going to be people from Boston, and so like that.
Okay, that is incorrect,
anyway.
and I got click happy. So no. All right, your next category, or your next clue is Sage. Again, from 49.
What was their starting tribe name?
So they were on Uli to start.
Okay. Started on bread.
Yeah, maybe it's like. I mean, I guess it's as simple as like. I get at this point we have nothing to go off except for Uli tribe members.
Yes. Let's lock in Uli tribe members.
Uli tribe members.
That is incorrect. Your next clue is Savannah Louis.
And that doesn't help. Okay.
Okay.
No. There ruled it out.
There might be something here. I think there's something deceptively simple. Maybe.
I mean, we
just got off of a really complicated one. So like there's a
Is it as simple as like women with S names on season 49?
Honestly, I think that might be it. Or just people with S names.
And we have Sophie and Sophie as the next two.
I think there's a very good chance that's the case.
You read me like a book. Or Derek, I guess I should say. Yes, that is correct. Survivor 49, women with an S name, given the fact that there were so freaking many on this season. Okay,
and so many of them made it to the end. Shannon was the only one that went before like the final 7.
Yeah.
I know, which is absolutely wild to me.
Did you guys notice that in Sophie's letter home, it said Soph?
Wait, really?
Oh, what? Dude, you know what?
Look back.
So confused. I am so confused.
Can I draw another cockamamie theory here?
Please.
I think Jeff Probst had a bottle of whiteout and saw that letter and said, "I'm making a point here. This Sophie claims that she's the one true Sophie, but she will always be Soph to me, and you are Soph in this letter."
Or he angrily wrote back to the family and was like, "We refuse to accept her letter until
her name is Soph now.
Her name is Soph now."
I've told her personally. I think it's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
How did she feel about that? How'd she respond to that?
She was like, honestly, yeah. Like I think she agreed a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
She's becoming fond of it, maybe.
Okay, that's good.
She had a little like Stockholm syndrome, Soph home syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. Oh no. Okay, let's move on to our next category.
Episode
Blood
titles
will be drawn. Mm-hmm.
Blood will be drawn. Oh, things you say at the phlebotomist.
The most annoying patient ever.
Do you remember what episode title number this was, Mike?
So this, I'm trying to remember if this is the title of an episode from this season or not. I think we'll have to see in the future ones if it's pulling episodes from other seasons.
Okay.
I feel this does sound familiar, so maybe this was from this season.
We could be like episodes titled "Said by a Certain Person," or from a certain episode of different seasons.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's start with Occam's Razor. Survivor 49 episode titles.
Okay.
That is incorrect.
True
Your
Lies.
Next clue is True Lies.
Okay, so True Lies, I feel like it's the name of like an early episode. This is pre-season 13 when they didn't use contestant quotes. And so it's True Lies. True Lies actually might be like a name of a episode from the Amazon. If I'm
That's really impressive if you're right.
I'm most likely not right. Blood will be drawn. True Lies. True Lies. Is it like the name of the merge episode?
Would you like to lock that in as your final answer?
Let's lock that in. No, let's lock that in.
That is correct.
Are you kidding me?
It's Marquesas. True Lies was the Marquesas merge episode. Yeah.
Wait, what? Pause and see these ones for a second. Girls Gone Wilder.
So that's the Amazon one. Hot Pickle is Micronesia. I remember that.
Head of the Snake is Cagayan.
Okay. And then was Blood Will Be Drawn this season?
That's a good question. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
I knew that. Yeah. Okay, great.
As we all know, yes, the very memorable title, Blood Will Be Drawn.
I was worried about this one, Mike. I was worried for us on this one, and you really came through.
No, Liana knows how much of a freak I am about Survivor episode titles.
But Anika, you said it too, though. You said, is it the same episode, like the same slot in multiple seasons?
I wouldn't have gotten it if it weren't for you.
Yeah.
Concept was there.
Okay, next clue, or your next category, first clue. Rizzo, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Okay,
I really hope he reveals that persona in the final tribal council.
Same.
I do too. Rizzo, players with nicknames.
Oh, actually, that's a great, players with nicknames.
Okay, players with nicknames. That is incorrect. Your next clue is Jay. Jay Start.
So Jay does have an idol, memorably. It could be simple as like players who had a hidden immunity idol.
Who have held on to idols.
Yeah, that feels like such a deep category, though.
I say let's guess that.
Okay, players who had idols.
That is incorrect. Your next player is Jamie
Oh, I know this one. It's people who played fake idols.
Oh.
Well, your next two, Eliza and Randy, would agree because, yes, they all played fake idols.
Yeah, I guess we just forget about Rizzo. It was a self-appointed fake idol. That it was his own fake idol that he played. The other four were duped. Well, Eliza wasn't really duped. It was more so, shot in the dark, Hail Mary.
Right.
It's an effing stick. All right. Your first clue of your next category, we have Sophie B, Blue Sophie, whatever her myriad of nicknames are, Sophie Bellardi.
What do you think, Anika?
Players from Miami. No,
there's not. Or like players who are on a season with someone with the same name.
Oh, are there enough?
I mean, you could have there's been seasons that have had 2 Kims on it, 2 Kellys on it, 2 Robs on it.
True. Okay, I like that one. Let's do that.
Person who was played on the same season with someone with the same name.
I'm going to give it to you. So yes, technically, your next clue would have been Stephanie Johnson, Rob Mariano, Kim Johnson, and Kelly. Technically, the category was a higher placing duo who shared the same name on the same season. I felt like if I said no, you never would have gotten here. I never would have gotten here.
We never would have been like, but it's not specific enough.
Exactly. Not quite. No, that was
5 pointer, guys. That was out of thin air. That's incredible.
You have won the game. In that 24 points would have been the average if you had gotten 3 points on all of the questions. You are crushing it with 25. Let's see how many points you can get on our last question here. So moving into the final category, your clue is 49.
Seasons in the new era?
That's a good one. It's going to be something weird where it's like, I don't know, seasons that are square numbers that have the final 5 being comprised of people from all 3 tribes on a Tuesday.
Wait, the square number is a good one, though.
Honestly, should we try seasons that are square numbers?
Seasons that are square numbers.
Would love to see someone take the square of your next clue, Ghost Island.
That's a square number. That's 36.
No, that is incorrect.
Oh my. Ooh, what do those have in common?
What
Ghost Island and 49.
Ghost Island and 49. Both. No, I was going to say they had a double tribal council, but 49 actually didn't have a double tribal council because someone had to get bitten by a snake.
Yeah. Were there certain tribe swaps on Ghost Island?
So Anika, that's it.
Yeah.
Seasons that had 2 tribe swaps.
You're bringing it home strong with 4 points, baby. That's right. Seasons with 2 tribe swaps. And with 29 points, you've absolutely crushed the game. Congratulations to both of you.
This was a good game. I really like this game.
Derek,
shout out Derek.
Shout out
Derek.
Let's
go. Shout out Derek.
Oh
Yeah, that was very fun. You guys did really well. I was reading through some of these. I was like, I would never have gotten these. So well done. This was very fun. And again, shout out Derek. Thank you so much for sending in the game and for putting it together for us.
And of course, Liana, thank you for being the hostess with the mostess and guiding us through that wonderful presentation.
Thank you. And I saved everyone from me doing my best British accent.
Can you give us like a little taste?
Oh, hello, governor.
Spot on.
Thank you.
Want a biscuit right now. Well, let's
please, sir. I'd love some more.
Mine always goes Harry Potter. If you try to do a British accent, mine's going to like bloody hell.
What are you waving a flag?
Like a wand.
Just no. All right, well, let's wave a wand and cast Lumos on our next segment here, which is the way we close out every episode of the B&B, where we give the chance to our guests to highlight a charity or cause that is important to them. So, Anika, the ball is in your court. What do you want the listeners to know about?
I would love to tell you about the one nonprofit that I actually do give money to every single month. It is called the Nature Conservancy. I am a big tree hugger. I care about the environment a lot. The Nature Conservancy does really fight against climate change and also saving the ocean and saving the trees. And I think as someone who grew up around nature and us valuing the beauty of islands like Fiji and all around the world where we get to play, I personally want to feature the Nature Conservancy, who's putting money and helping in saving our beautiful planet.
Yeah, it's a great call. I mean, I think, Survivor is a show that its entire onus is removing us from our creature comforts, from civilization. And we've seen over 25 years the ability to glimpse upon how beautiful untouched nature can be. And stuff like this helps make sure that it remains untouched from the gritty hands of capitalists everywhere.
The way you just said everything I wanted to so much better than what I just said. And yes, +1 to that, Mike.
Oh my God. Well, Anika, you were a great +1 on this podcast. So much fun. Welcome to the B&B, making your official debut. So great to hear from you, from your perspectives on what was going on in the episode, allowing yourself to engage in all the malarkey that we bring on a weekly basis. This was so much fun. Anything you want to plug to listeners out there? Any final thoughts you have about this episode or season 49 in general?
I'm so excited for also 50 promo next week. Guys, it's hard not to think about it. So obviously, I'm rooting for my girl Genevieve, and I can't wait to see what's going to be seen next week.
Oh, I know. It's so exciting. It is wild to think that's right around the corner. I mean, obviously I'm excited to see how 49 ends, but the reminder of the promo for 50, let's go.
Yeah, it's the thing that I think we kind of, some of us at least, put in the back of our heads for a few months, being like, well, we have another season to focus on, and it's on its way. It's coming, and there'll be plenty for you to engage in on the road to it. But in the meantime, Liana, on the road to next episode of Survivor 49, what have you got going on that people should check out?
Yeah, so in the meantime, Pui and I are holding it down on the Pui and Liana Lounge. We did a 2024 sort of wrapped episode. We talked about our favorite moments, our favorite places we went, those kinds of things. We're going to do our Christmas holiday episode next week. Then we're going to take a week off before we ring in the new year, 2026, which is absolutely wild to think that that is right around the corner.
Of course, you can check out everything I've got going on as well. Amazing Race finished up this past week. Anika, are you an Amazing Race person?
I'm a huge Amazing Race person, and I would also loved and would die to be on the show. And I'm so happy for Jag and Jazz. I love them as people. I think they did a great job this season. Jag, a 2-time winner. Come on, incredible. Will he be on Survivor? Can he get the 3rd win of the CBS trio?
Okay, yeah. How do you think he would do on Survivor? Because I talked to him and he said that he would be open to doing it.
He's such a charismatic person if you meet him in person. And I do think that bodes pretty well, depending on who he gets cast with. I'm going to be a Jag fan on Survivor.
Which would you rather not hear after you got voted out? GG or let's go?
I'm going to vote GG. I'm literally like, no.
Yeah, so you can check out my interviews with the Final Four, as well as Rob and Jess's interviews with the Final Four. Of course, our recap we had going on of a finale that had some very deserving winners to Anika's point. Maybe not the, strongest episode, but still a very fun season to talk about overall. And we'll be doing some postseason interviews as well, sooner rather than later, with some of the people that made it to the end game. I'm also going to be popping on with Rob Cisternino tomorrow to do something special about Survivor 49. Won't talk about it just yet, but a little bit of a miscellaneous podcast before the finale, in which I'll be providing you 5 interviews with everyone left in the cast. I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about in terms of what we experienced in the finale, their games up to that point, etc. And then the road to season 50 officially begins. And we've got some end of the year wrap up stuff as well. There's plenty going on both in my own personal feed at a Mike Bloom type, as well as here over on RHAP, as we are, as Liana points out, wrapping up the year that was 2025, and got a lot to look forward to in 2026, starting with, January 8th, something might be coming around, but of course, plenty of other stuff happening. We've got 1 episode left, but that still means if Survivor's still on the air, if there's an episode to come, you can send us stuff to talk about. Derek is a great example, someone who made this game, who sent this game to us, and it went over flawlessly. So please, if you have any and all ideas, RHAP B&B at gmail.com. If the cockamamie things I've thrown out over this podcast is any indication, I am game for any ideas that you might throw out there. So let your voice be heard. You can use the hashtag RHAPBNB on social media as well. So yeah, if you have any especially big season wrap up games or segments that you want us to use, please let us know. We'll get into them with our season finale podcast next week. Special thanks to everyone behind the scenes at RHAP for packaging this podcast for your eyes and your ears, and Will from America for his fantastic theme song. Liana and I will be back next week covering the finale of Survivor 49. Until next time, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stage.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.